You don't really want to just be going up and like trying to hit on girls, because that just looks creepy. Like, you're there by yourself, and you're just hitting on girls. It can look creepy. It looks thirsty for sure, but it can also look creepy, unless that's the vibe, right? Because sometimes that is the vibe. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marvel for Matter, back with another video. And today what I'm going to talk about is the type of game you should use when you go out by yourself. When you're out on a night by yourself, you dolo, no friends with you, you're at the club, you're at the bar, you know what I'm saying, you stroll in the city, whatever it is. What is the best way to meet women and have success with women when you're out by yourself? So somebody asked me to do this video, and it's a great question, because a lot of times, right, people have different schedules from you, so they can't always do the same things. They can't always move when you want to move. I used to go out by myself quite a bit, actually, and I've met plenty of women that way. Now, I'm gonna say, like I always say, it's situational, right? So it depends on you. I can't give blanket advice to everybody, so I'll give a couple different like scenarios. If you are a guy who can attract women without talking, like you get girls that come up to you, then it's very simple. When you go out, you find a place that has the type of women you're interested in. You grab some type of drink. I'm not saying drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but if you grab a water, grab a cranberry juice, whatever it is, just have something in your hand. And this is something I found out because a girl came up to me one time and she was like, you're good looking, but she's like, you're not really approachable because like you don't have a drink in your hand, so you don't really look like you don't look like you're fitting in. I forget whatever word she used, but she's basically like, the fact that I didn't have anything in my hand made me kind of stand out in a way of like, okay, what is this, like, is he completely sober? Is he this? Is he that? Like, it just kind of was a little off-putting, I guess. So that's something that you want to make sure you do when you go out by yourself, is have something in your hand, some water at least, But from there, you find a spot, a good spot, right? And a good spot is somewhere where you can be seen. You want to be able to be seen. And this is, like I said, if you're a guy who attracts women, you want to find a spot near like the entrance exit area, somewhere around there. You want to find a spot at the bar, because everybody's going to come up to the bar at some point. You want to find a spot en route to the bathroom, right? So not, obviously not standing outside the bathroom, but you want to be in a place that's like, if the bathroom's off in the back of the club, right, you want to be closer to the back of the club where people are going to often walk through. It's you want to find those type of areas, and that's going to give women a chance to see you, right? And in all honesty, what you'll realize is, if like I said, that type of guy, women, it doesn't matter. They don't have to see you talking to people. They don't have to see you doing much. Like, if there's music, you know what I mean, you just dance a little bit to yourself. That's what I would just do. I would just go, just kind of be by myself, dance a little bit to myself. Now, some of them are just going to come and bump into you, and then, from there you can create a conversation. But some girls will just come up to you. Like, I've had that happen so many times where I went out. So like one time I went out, and literally almost as soon as I got to the spot, I found like a little table. I sat at the table, and I noticed these like two girls looking at me, and they walked over towards me, but they didn't talk to me. They kind of just stood in the vicinity. And I was like, all right, I see what this is. I was like, let me just wait it out, because it always works if you just wait it out. So I just kind of waited it out, and they never really came over. But then some other third girl came over out of nowhere. She was like super assertive, and she was like, hey, she's like, I think you're really cute, blah, 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 gave me the spiel. And come to find out, she had sent her two friends over to like scout, or to kind of like to kind of ask like, oh, you single, do a little bit of the groundwork. But I don't know, I guess they were too nervous to do it. So she was just like, I got to come over and do this myself, right? So that's something where I didn't even have anything in my hand. I didn't have nothing happen. Now, that doesn't happen often. That was like a one-off, right? But it happens. It can happen quick as soon as you get to a place. Another time I went to this lounge type area, and there was like a live performance or whatever. So this girl was sitting on the couch. I'm like, all right, whatever, let me sit next to her. So I sit right now. I'm like, can I sit next to you? Is that cool? Boom. We're talking about the band. It was like a punk band or some shit. I'm not really a big fan of that. So I was asking her like, oh, like, what type of music is this? Boom, we can just have a conversation. Cool. At the end of it, I wasn't thinking anything. I wasn't thinking anything of it, right? I was just like, all right, I'm out. Let me just be social. Let me talk, right? And at the end of the conversation, she's about to leave. She's like, okay. Like her friends call her like, okay, we're about to leave. She's like, okay, cool. And she turns to me. She's like, can I have your number? Right? So it can work either way. It can work with you just being quiet and, you know, staying to yourself if you have that type of appeal to women, and you have that approachability that women like. But it can also work if you just go out and you just have regular conversation. You can just have regular. There was another time I wasn't by myself, but as far as she knew, I was by myself, and it would have worked the same. I go up to the bar. I'm talking to some girl. Just, hey, is it cool if I sit here? Yep. Have a conversation with her. Now we're talking. Her friend gets intrigued for some reason because her friend was the pretty friend. She's probably used to the guys coming up to her, but I wasn't paying her any mind. So I'm talking to her friend. The friend goes to the bathroom. The other girl comes over, switches the drinks, takes her spot, and then we're just talking. We end up, you know, making out right there at the bar. It's just like there's so many different ways. So the main thing is you want to be appealing to women. That's the main part of the game that you gotta have if you're going out dolo. And this is just like the dating culture in general. This is why the looks have become such a big deal, because when you're not in a social situation where it's like a social circle, right, and you have no reputation, you have nobody to vouch for you, you have she hasn't had time to observe you and see and know anything about you, that's when you need to lay it heavy on the attraction. So if you're going out on a night by yourself, if you're going out in general, right, but specifically by yourself, you gotta have appeal. You gotta be dressed nice. You gotta be you gotta look loose. You can't be all nervous and tense and looking awkward and looking around. Like you can't be like that. You gotta be cool, calm, in your element. Sometimes girls are gonna approach you, but sometimes you can just go up and have conversation. You can't run around the club looking to try to get something, right? That's not how you do it, because I've seen guys do that, where they're running around the club. Like I remember I went out with my boy one time, and this dude, he was dolo, but then he like kind of tried to latch on to us. But then he was just like, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna buy a drink, I'm gonna buy some drinks, right? So he's buying these girls drinks, and you can see it. He's drunk, so he doesn't really see it, but you can see like, okay, they're using him to get the drinks. As soon as he got them the drinks, they're like, oh yeah, cool. Oh, our friends are over here, and they just off to the races, right? They got a free drink. He's not gonna get anything out of it. So that's not what you want to do. You definitely don't want to do that, right? You definitely don't want to be out here just like thinking you're gonna lure them in, buying them drinks. That doesn't work. I've seen that fail too many times. I would never buy a girl a drink that I don't know. That makes no sense. But like I said, the main thing is you gotta have that appeal, that presentation. Your presentation gotta be on point. Positioning has to be on point. So you gotta be in a position where you can be seen by a lot of girls, right? If you look good and you're visible, that's like half the battle right there. Now it's just like, okay, at some point in the night, girls are gonna start feeling more confident. They're gonna feel more loose. Like when they first get there, they might be a little tight, right? They might drink, get a little looser. Now I'm not saying deal with girls that are just like gone fake. You know, I would never do that, especially because I don't drink. But that can still have a conversation. Maybe they have a little bit of a buzz or whatever, so they feel a little bit looser. I don't drink, so I don't really know how it works, to be honest with you. But they seem coherent. They seem able to have a conversation. They seem to be able to engage, right? So whatever that is, whatever that point is, girls reach that at some point in the night, and they'll come over. Sometimes they'll send their friends over. But yeah, that's essentially the game that you're gonna want to use. And if you do have conversation, you want to make it seem very casual. You don't really want to just be going up and like trying to hit on girls, because that just looks creepy. Like you're there by yourself, you know, and you're just hitting on girls. It can look creepy. It looks thirsty for sure, but it can also look creepy, unless that's the vibe, right? Because sometimes that is the vibe. Sometimes girls are just, they feeling you. They want to, especially if it's like a dancing environment, like they might want to dance with you. They might get sensual. They might get, you know, whatever that is, but let them initiate that, especially on a night out, because in the club, in the bars, they have too much power. They have way too much power. And it's in those situations where you being calm, you not really paying them any mind, you not being thirsty when you're in a room full of guys that are thirsty and paying all the girls' mind and you know, buying drinks and just doing way too much. When you're in that environment but you're not doing that, you stand out for that reason. Why is he not sweating all the girls? Why is he not pressed? What's going on? And if you now, this isn't going to work if you don't look good, of course. It's not just like anybody can do this and it's going to work. Women have to find you attractive. You know, that's the bottom line. But aside from that, it's the fact that you're not thirsty that's intriguing. I've said this before in other videos, but we talking about on a night out by yourself. You definitely don't want to look thirsty. You want to come off as like cool, you know, confident, sociable, have conversations with this person, have conversations with that person, but you'll catch eyes, and it's like, so you just got to be aware. It's more about being aware, right? Being aware of like, okay, this girl, what is she doing? Is she coming near me? Okay, she's coming near me, she hover and bump me, let's have a conversation. She's showing interest. You see a girl that everybody's hitting on, okay, you can go up and hit on her too, cool, but you'll probably just be one of the guys that she's throwing in the bucket. If you're attractive enough, maybe she just wants you and she'll come to you, so you wait out a little bit, you see how the night goes. But let's say she's not coming up to you. All right, now what do? You could go up and say something about the fact that all the guys are hitting on her, right? That would separate you from the guys hitting on her. I'm not saying that's gonna work, but that will separate you from that, from the long list of guys that's just hitting on her. If it's a night out, you're not gonna see her again. It doesn't really matter if she looks that good, shoot your shot. I just think that's a better shot to shoot, right? Having a casual conversation, or, you know, acknowledging the fact that all these guys are hitting on you. That's funny. That happened to you everywhere you go, like shit like that. Just have regular conversations, so you're not pedestalizing her. You're not coming over to her like, oh, I hope that, oh, you look so good. Oh, you know what I mean? All the stuff that these guys are doing. But really, it's about the presentation and the positioning. That's the main things when it comes to going out by yourself. That's what I learned. If you look good and you're visible, you're gonna be in a good position by yourself, because you don't have a bunch of people to talk to. She can't see you being super social. You know, she can't really gauge how you are, how you interact. But if you look good, you seem confident in yourself, you seem chill, you vibe into the music by yourself, you know what I mean? You're doing your thing, you be on your phone, whatever it is, that is going to be your best bet. So those two, and then if you have conversation skills, if you can go up and start a conversation, just a regular conversation, it can be about anything. You don't have to make it super sexual. The fact that you're in the club, the fact that you guys she's dressed sexy, probably you're dressed nice, the attraction will happen. So you just have regular conversation about whatever it is around. Y'all can make fun of people if she's has that type of personality. Y'all can like start roasting people, right? It makes you it's like a them versus us type of thing. You can try that dynamic. There's all types of ways that you can do it. You can get into deep conversation, you can do whatever it is, whatever type of angle you want to make it, you can make it. But your presentation, your visibility, and your conversation skills are the main three things that you need on a night out by yourself. And from there, like, it's just like you got to just see what it is. You got to see what it is. I'll be honest, I don't know how to, and I'll be honest, without the presentation, like without her being attracted to you, I don't really know if there's much you can do on a night out. I'll just be completely honest. Unless, I would say the only exception is if you just have a really charismatic personality and you're like funny and you can get her to laugh. I know guys think being funny it doesn't work. And I would say if you're already attractive and then you try to be too funny, that could throw it off. But if you are one of those few people that's genuinely funny, that genuinely has a really, really charismatic, outgoing, happy personality, and it doesn't come across like you're trying hard, that will be the great equalizer, right? And allow you to connect with women even in a nightclub situation. But the chances, not a lot of people have that type of personality. So if you do, you already know this, you've already experienced this. So this is just me preaching to the choir. But for most guys, that attraction is going to be the main thing. It's kind of like a dating app. It's like there's a whole bunch of options in one situation, and the girls have so much power that it's like, only the guys who look good are gonna really stand out. Everybody else is kind of gonna get used for drinks, gonna get used for attention, gonna get used for validation. But the guys who they really like are going to stand out. And you have to, if you're one of those guys, you can't act like the validation guys. You can't, because if they can get it from you, that might just be enough. They might not even want you. They just want your validation, your attention, right? You to buy them drinks so they can feel good about themselves. Because a lot of times girls just go out to feel good about themselves. And that's another thing. You got to be able to spot the girls that are actually looking to engage and looking for something, right? So this is where paying attention to their eyes is very important. The girls that are looking around and that are really like paying attention to the environment, they're paying attention because they're looking for something. The ones who are just running around happy with their friends, like, and they're just in her and their friends are just in their own world, like, let them go. I've yet to see that really turn into anything. If because we've all been in those situations where the girls are just so, and I'm gonna be real, this is specifically with white girls. I feel like they just be in the club, it's like they're in their own world in the club, and they don't really like go out of it. So it's like with them, I kind of just let them do their thing. But if you notice girls that are looking around, that are observant, they're looking for something, and they're most likely gonna be more open to engaging with strangers because they're not so invested in their group. That is something that I also notice when I'm out. Girls that are looking around, because those are the ones you're gonna make eye contact with because they're looking around. They're looking for something. So that's another key. You got to notice those type of girls because those are the ones that you'll actually be able to have something happen with. All right, fellas, so that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Drop some more topics in the comment section. I got my consultations in the description box, Instagram in the description box, and you know what it is. It's mind over matter, marvel over matter. Let's get it.